morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name's Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. And today we're taking a look at Dialekt by Sugar Bytes for the iPhone and for iPad. What's those? Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Jade and this is How to App on iOS, and I hope you're doing okay. Not really the usual time slot for me doing something like this because normally it would be Walk With Me, but this week I wasn't well enough to go out and film Walk With Me, so here we are doing a demo instead that I needed to catch up on anyway. What is this demo we are taking a look at today? Well, I'm glad you asked. The app in question is actually called Dialekt. It is by Sugar Bytes. It is an 8-track groovebox. It has AUv3 and it is available for both iPad and iOS. Now, just to get this 100% clear, these are separate apps. This is not a universal app. We are looking right now at Dialekt for iPad, and there's also a Dialekt for iPhone. They are both absolutely free to download, but they come with in-app purchases. The iOS iPhone version is $9.99, and that will unlock this for you. But you do get to play around with it if you've downloaded it, with restrictions, of course, so there is that. Also, if I can hit the back button here, go back. The iPad version is a little bit more expensive. It is $24.99. So they are two different versions. Make up your mind which one you want to use and pick that. I'll be demoing the iPad version today. So what is it? It's a groovebox. Yes, a groovebox. So it's contained with a whole lot of instruments and everything built into it. So you can make whatever you want and you can build up your own programs, all that stuff. The other thing that you can do is load it as an AUv3 and have multi-out. So there's a whole lot of stuff to do. Now, this is not going to be a full-blown, in-depth, everything nuts and bolts, the whole tutorial, because I don't have all the time. I'm going to try and fit in as much as I can in an hour. But if you go to the Sugar Bytes YouTube channel, which I will link in the description below, you can go and watch the full tutorial that they have put up there. That is so in-depth. It goes for 3 hours almost. There's a lot in this app, yeah? So I'm just covering as much as I can within an hour period of time. Hello to Baseline, Denise, Ed Zelinsky, Studio 6+1. I'm not expecting many people here today because this is not normally what I do, but we're going to get into it. So we know the prices, free to download, both in-app purchases. Let's open up a project and see what the hell is going on. Here's my project. As you can see, all this has been split into multiple tracks. So I'll just hit play. We'll load up the main screen here, go into our memory, and I'll shut up and we'll play something I made. This is a preset I think I made from scratch, from basically nothing. Let's hit play. Let's Oj. So that was an entire song that I put together. So every part was built in our patterns. We'll break this down and tell you. Zelinsky says 3 hours. Do they leave any time for people to discover anything for themselves? That's exactly what I think too. That's why I'm doing it this way, because you should be able to discover stuff. Now, I only went and watched the tutorial on Sugar Bytes channel. It's done by Gavinski, just for some little things that I wanted to pick up. But pretty much, if you've used a groovebox before, you're going to have no trouble doing this kind of stuff, yeah? So in here, I've got a multi-out setup. We'll jump out of this and just clear it out, and we're going to start with a brand new instance. As I said, you can load this as a standalone or as an AUv3. So you just load it as a normal audio track, do a search for Dialekt and Dialekt. There you go, bang. And it is loaded into AUM. And this was the first screen you'll see. Pretty standard stuff. I'm sure most people wouldn't be confused by this. This is your sequencer. So what do we have across the top? So you've got multiple ways to reach all of these tabs here. Over in the corner, you've got this little pattern box, and this offers all those very same things. You can see pattern, synth, memory, song, mixer, effects, settings, or info mode. And you can do the very same thing across the top here by pattern, synth, memory, song, mixer, effects, settings, and info mode. We'll start with info mode. So when info mode is turned on, you've got it highlighted here. Wherever you are, you tap, and you will hold, if you hold down, you'll get an explanation. Again, very well implemented. This makes it a hell of a lot easier to not even really need a tutorial. So, I mean, here we go. You hold down on this. It says track select. When range is set to selected, use the control to select the track you want. Drop patterns into that area, blah, blah, blah. If I hold it down on the pin, it says the pin needle will only play the selected pattern. So everything is covered here. Define which data is affected by operations. So the little info mode is super, super helpful. Don't overlook it and think, what can it do for me? But just be aware, when info mode is selected, you can't do anything. Whatever you tap on, you're going to get a response to, yeah? So as soon as you turn that off, done. You can get back to doing the things you want to do, like choosing your parts and all that shit, yeah? Easy peasy. Jenny Jolivet, hello to you. What's happening? All right. Patterns. So I'm just going to jump over to here. There are a few things to remember. We have patterns, and in a pattern there is most of the time 4 parts. You can see them here. So this is just to give you an idea of what makes up a part. You've got 4 patterns here, and you can see as I'm on the memory tab at the moment. As I move across these patterns, you can see this square over here is the aligning part, which has the patterns inside, the 4 of them. And you can see when I tap on each one, the line over here changes like it's moving through the part. And this is if we come back, this is one of the first patterns. And you can see it says it here, pattern. So we're on pattern 1.1. This would be pattern 2.2. And you can see as I move these through down here, that part is moving through. So you can see there's 4 of them. If we move to the next, you're on to 2. So you've got a representation of all of your parts down the bottom and your individual patterns here. Hello, Jamie Lynn. So just to be clear, there's 2 little tabs up here which you should be aware of, and that is the eyeball. When the eyeball is set and turned on, it will follow the entire project. We'll come back to the eyeball. The pin is super important. It helps you to understand where you are. It's like adding a loop onto that particular pattern within the part, and you can just loop that and go over it and make changes. We'll get to explaining it soon. Where should we start? We'll continue over here. Give me a sec. Hi, Leila. All right. So to the side, we've got all of these synth engines, and you've got 8 of them. You've got 8 of these selected synths. Well, not 8 synth engines, but 8 sections to change the synth engines within. So let's go through them. We've got a kick. Just come back here. We've got a kick, a snare, a cymbal, a slice, MLT, why can't I think of what that stands for? We've got bass, we've got synthesizer, and chords up the top here. So let's start simple, right? Because we know what a kick is and all that jazz. So let's come down here and chuck in a 4 on the floor. Just tap them in. Pretty simple stuff, yeah? So pretty simple stuff. You draw in, you want to remove it, tap on it again. There are other ways to remove things. So if I tap these 4 notes in once again, I can come up here. Oh no, this doesn't have the little delete thing. We've got a pencil. So with the pencil, I can come in and I can draw, right? So I can draw stuff in like this. And we'll come back here. And see how I've just picked this up? So you can actually pick up notes and move them around. So I might not want this over here. I might want to put it in another place. You can actually copy stuff and move it around. And if you hold down on it, it'll take you to the synth. So just watch again what happened there. If I hold, I'm currently holding down on this symbol note, hold it, it gets a little line, and then it takes us straight to the synth on the next page with the settings for that particular symbol hit. So you can get, I mean, the reason why the tutorials are so long for this app is that there's so much you can do and really get individualistic down on everything to each single note. And you can, like, these effects and everything here, pitch and filter and everything, you can apply this to single notes or the pattern, the part, the song. We'll get to that. It's pretty spectacular what you can do with this sucker. Again, you just, if I want to remove all these now, I can hit that pencil and just drag to delete them. And you don't have to just drag along in a line either. Like, you can go diagonal. And so if I just start here and see that, I can draw diagonal down as well. And I can delete that way too. So I don't have to follow the lines. You can draw whatever you want and put that in there. So let's just stick with our 4 on the floor. Boom, boom, and actually play it. Oh, I've put it in the wrong section. Let's come over here and put it in here, shall we? Boom, boom, boom. And why am I not connected? Why are you doing that to me? There we go. Right, now I just hit play there, and it went through. Now, whoops, I'll get out of the way for a second. Follow down here. Here is our part, and we're on our first pattern, so 1.1. As soon as I hit play, watch what happens down here. Keep your eye down here. We hit play, and it's gone off the screen, and we're no longer following. But this is still moving. This is moving along the section here. We're going to get some more kicks in here. Now I'm going to focus on this pin up the top here, because this pin is super important. So now I'm going to hit pin and then hit play, and we are now just going to be stuck on this section, on this pattern here, this pattern 1.1. So the pin is super, super good for coming in and working out what you want to do. Let's put in some snares. We'll put in some hats. Yeah. Easy. Now, the thing is, you've got to remember that your pin is attached, because if you say come over here and you start messing about, you'll notice I just moved to the memory section and the pin is still lit, right? So once the pin is turned off, the song will continue as it should. We've got nothing there. Let's come back over to our pattern. So we've drawn in some drums. Let's just put in notes everywhere, random stuff. And then we'll go over some randomization, and then we'll get into the synths. Whee! Let's see how this sounds, and we'll hit play. Oops, no pin selected. Awesome. Now I might want to come in and just randomize one of the tracks. So if I select one of the tracks, we've got some random options up here as well. So if I hit this, you can see this is randomizing. So we can hit play and randomize on the fly. You can remove the randomization with an X, bring it back. And we have an undo and redo over here. But watch what happens when I hit this randomization. It changed everything. Let's do it again. And you're probably noticing, just for example, listen to the hats here. We'll solo them, come back to our pattern and do a jiggy. See how when I'm randomizing, it's actually going up. So you can go individual tracks or the whole project. Let's just get this symbol off mute, off solo. Okay, just quickly. Now, I might want to start building this section out. I like this section. Let me pop myself back on camera. There we are. So I'm just going to bounce over to the memory section here, or I can stay here in the pattern. And we'll come over here to this memory section. And now what I can do is I can copy these. Just drag, copy, drag, copy, drag, copy. And now we've got 4 of these all in a row, all sitting pretty. And let's come back. And here's our whole project so far. It's not pinned, so it's going to play all the way through. Sweet. Pretty easy to do. Let's come back. Here's our project. I'm going to bounce now over to the synth engine so we can run through those briefly, and then we'll get down to it. Hey, Jim Shannon, if dots, hello to you. I am on the mend. Thank you very much. There's only one thing that's not working I'm not going to talk about because you don't want to hear about my bathroom habits. I'm saving you all. All right, so let's get into the synth. So as you know, we've got a kick, we've got a snare, cymbal, slice. We'll go through all of these individually. Let's do it now. How do you get to these to go in and individually play with them? There's a couple of ways. You can jump on this tab over to the synth and then choose them. Here, they're all color coded, so you know which one you're on by the color of the tab. The other way you can get there is by double tapping over here on your pattern page, and that'll take you there. Double tap. Oops. Double tap. And then once you've double tapped in, you only have to touch down the side. All right. So double tap again, and it'll take you back to your pattern page. So I know this is going to be a lot to ingest in such a short period of time, and I'm going to remind you all the way through. Sugar Bytes has a great tutorial for this already. But here are our synths. So of course, we've got our kick at the moment. Now, once you're in the synth page here, and you've chosen your kick like I have here, over to the side you can solo it. So you can just solo this kick. Let's just pin it. And we can hear our kick going over and over because it's pinned. You can see the section down the bottom, oops, that it's actually pinned to. So we can, and from here we can move through. So I might not want to sit on 1.3. We can click with the arrows to go back to the first one, and now that is playing down there. So let's cover the editing range first, because this is crazy. Up the top here, I'm currently on step. So anything that I change down here will affect the step that is selected, which is this one. See how this one's lit up at the moment? So if I change the cutoff here, that is only affecting that note that is in here. See how I click between the 2 notes that are drawn in? They've both got different cutoffs. So let's change the resonance of this as well too. So any changes, we can come and add some drive to that first kick. Your envelope, LFO, we'll get to all of this as well. But So that is this editing range is very important to keep your eye on, because you might come in and make all these sweeping changes and it's only affecting one step of your step sequencer. If we change this to pattern, now this affects all of these. So if we change the cutoff now, it's going to affect everything. If we turn the drive up, we add some reverb, it's affecting every part of this kick. If we change this to part, this will affect this entire block instead of just a section. Song will affect the entire song, but the funnest thing is live. When we come over to live, you can actually change stuff on the fly while it's playing. So I can come in here, and while this is moving through the sequencer, watch this. Now we've got this cutoff moving around through this sequence. And this can affect everything here, yeah? Every single thing. But be aware when you're in live and when you're not in live, because if you just start messing with stuff, you're going to crazy up your whole song. And there is that. All right, let's take out this reverb. And again, see how I'm in live and I turn down the reverb and now it's disappearing. And now that's moving down there in the bottom right-hand corner. But if I come back to my part, or pattern, or part, or step, it's not going to be animating like that. Now, I could probably go into the ABS and relative. These are little things that I, won't have time to cover if I want to cover everything as much as I can. You do have an amount of randomization in here. You can randomize the parameters or the gates. So let's just talk about what parameters and gates are for a second, just so some people might not understand. Bring myself up here. So the parameters are these, yeah? So parameters are the all of these knobs here. So the pitch, the glide, LFO, all this is regarded as a parameter. Gates are regarded as MIDI notes on and off, right? So if we just uncheck that, come back here, all these notes that are drawn in here, these marks, these are notes on, and they are classed as gates, right? Just so the language is clear. So if I wanted to come in and do a randomize, it gives me the option here to either just do the parameters. As you can see, only the parameters move there. But if I choose gates, it's going to change the notes up here. So look, the randomization in this is just absolutely nuts. Let's take off solo. ASG experiment. All right, let's go back to our kick there. You can also use this to delete things. Doink. So this is like a little Stanley knife, but again, be very aware. If you leave this on, everything you touch, you'll be deleting. If you turn it off, you'll be good to add notes again, right? So just be aware, undo, redo if you fall into any troubles or anything like that. Let's talk about the synth engines, and we'll try and cover as much of these as possible. Synth engines, each instrument, we're on the kick at the moment, down the side here, has their own sections. So we've got organic, organic 2, synthetic, naturalistic, and ROM. We're on organic 2. And of course, you can change the tune, the pitch. But remember, again, right, see what I did there? Totally made a dick. We are on step. So if I wanted to change the entire pattern, you can do that as well. You can do glides, probably work better with bass. We'll just stick to what we're doing here with the kicks. Let's run through these other synth sounds, synthetic. And all of these, most of these things, mainly this section here, will change with your synth that you've chosen. So you can see this has got an FM mod, FM frequency on this one. We've got a crush, add some drive, boom. So basically, Jim, I think the naming of the stuff in here is trying to give you a representation of the type of kits. So you're looking at organic kits, then synthetic, so fake, naturalistic, more realistic drums, and then ROM. I'm guessing that's more kind of chiptune. That's my guess, because some of the synth sounds using the ROM. If we check it out now, see what I mean? That's very Atari or Commodore 64. And in here, with the ROM, you've got a whole bunch of different kits to choose from. Right. So they're your synths. For this, we'll just go through the next one. So we've got snares. Now, I've got this soloed, so if I unsolo this, everything comes in. Let's check out our snares. Here's our snare. Again, organic, synthetic. You can tune it with your oscillator. You got oscillator decay. Couple of mixed waveforms here. Claps. Oh, sorry, I hit ROM. So you've got all those ROM sounds. We've got claps. Bring everything back in. Cymbals. Now remember, we can randomize the entire part here. The gates. And we can hear these. So these are the metal hits. It's metal 1, metal 2, noise, of course your ROM, and dust, which I guess is noise. So we've got an amount of dustiness and the color of the dust, which is, it's essentially noise, yeah? Boom. Slice. What is slice? Slice is you can either import your own samples and slice them into the song, or you can use the list of samples that you are provided with. So if we come in here to slice edit down the bottom, so it's a little bit different than the others, but because you've got this little waveform down the bottom showing your slices, come down to slice edit, you've got a heap of samples to choose from. You've got chords and progression, beats, ambient stuff. So we can come in here. Let's take this very old noise. And then you can come in and decide the slice sensitivity. So you can turn all this kind of stuff up, add more slices as you want, where you want the slice to start. You can actually also input the rest of the sound. So if I'm sitting here and I'm unmuted, if I hit this mic and hit record, I should be able to. There we go. So it's the keyboard one. So when you've got this selected, I just recorded in what's playing. And now I can slice this. I can add more, move, normalize the whole thing. And then come out here and decide which slice gets played. I can randomize the slice with gates. Let's solo this. You can choose your own stuff. Let's take some vocal stuff. Right, so very, very deep settings, trust me. Let's do this. Again, you got reverb over to the side, some delay. Give it a bit of drive. Bring it back in. So again, a lot of stuff can be done with this. MLT. Let's solo this and run through what we've got over here. Claps. So this is another synth engine. It's got a resonator. So I think all the next 4 of these all have these very similar things. So the resonator is going to give you either like a guitar sound or a drum skin kind of sound. You got this 3D oscillator, which you can detune. Clapping. Super oscillator. Let's just do that. Oh. And we've got, what else? ROM, dust. We've got an FM as well. Are we still pinned? Yes, we're still pinned. I don't know why we're not. Let's do our thing. Now, this happened a couple of times to me. I lost sound for some reason, and it's happened again. Try starting this, see if it works. Lost my shit. Let's see. I've had this bug happen a couple of times, unfortunately. Let's unmute, see if that fixes it. No. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come over here to my song, and I'm just going to save this so I can come back to it. Hit save, and just call it demo. Boom. Yeah, did you see that? It was all maxed out. That's weird. It's happened a couple of times to me. And let's load this song up. Finding my user. There we go, we're back. So you just saw a live recovery. Don't panic, folks, when shit happens. Send a bug report, we should be good. So, we're in the section of synths, of these major synths. We've got a resonator. We got in here this drum, clap, super oscillator. Now, has this done it for when I clipped? Yeah, it's happened again. Look. Fuck, I don't like that. Don't like that. Hey, Sugar Bytes, you got to sort that out. Hey, Pete. That sucked. All right. I'm going to come back over here to this demo. Let's cover the bass. Again, I'm going to solo the bass. So the synths in here, monster, talky. We've got this real talky kind of bass. Okay. We've got a wave table in here, and you can just go through the waves. Right, so you've got a bunch of waves that you can go through. Sync oscillator. Pitch wave modulation. Everything's in here, yeah? It's pretty damn cool. So lots of options for bass. Let's bring everything back in. This is our synth. So again, pretty much the same options. We've got the sync oscillator. We've got a super oscillator in here. Your wavetable, monster. We'll leave this on super oscillator. Give it some reverb. And then we have our chord. So I'll unsolo. And this is our chord section. Again, pretty much the same synths. You've got this FM, you've got an organ in here. And what's a little bit special about this is you can come in here and add your own chords. Minors, majors. And you can set these as you go. So as you can see, there's a lot going on here, yeah, with all these 8 synths down the side, a lot going on. Again, not going to be able to get through all of it. The most important takeaways from all of this is to remember these editing ranges, what you are changing. At the moment, I have this set to step instead of pattern, so that's not changing the whole thing. There's also an arpeggiator down the bottom here. So if I'm on the chord section, I turn on the arpeggiator. Let's see what happens. We'll solo this. So you can hear the arpeggiator working, doing its magic. We can change the arp direction. Bring it back in. Now remember, I have this pin selected, so all these changes that I've been making has only been made to the first part of the first pattern in the part, which is this block here. All these ones will be as they are, and I can show you this by turning off the pin, taking this back to the start, hitting play. So none of these have been changed, these 3 here, but this is the one we've just been messing about with. And we'll get over to this memory page in a sec. Just make sure I've got everything kind of covered here as much as I can. You do have an on-screen keyboard, right? So you can go up and down an octave or down an octave. You can play notes on here, or you can add your own keyboard as well and play those in. Easy peasy beneasy, yeah? All right, let's get into, of course, I'm going to miss stuff. I do apologize, but hopefully we're just trying to get you off the ground to running to do this thing. Let's talk about the memory page. This is where things get really interesting because everything I've shown you up until now, you probably don't even need to know, because this page allows you to make songs without any knowledge of this app whatsoever. It's ridiculously cool. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm just going to say, you know what, let's come over here to our song mode. We're going to come over and we're going to hit init. So we're back to 0. There's no patterns. There's nothing being added. We are back to absolute 0. You can come in here and use all of this randomization down the side to just start a song. And let me show you how easy it is. This little section here, this pattern focuses on this little randomization here, as you see, focuses on patterns only. Patterns make up parts, right? You can see the full part here, 4 patterns, 2 apart. If I click here, you see this changes to 1.2. So I can come in here and individually randomize a track and just keep hitting random. And it's just going to randomize all this stuff, everything. And I will get down to how you can decide what gets randomized. Now, if I do this on all 4 different tracks and hit play, come back to the start. Pretty wild, right? But if I hit the X on this little pattern thing, it will clear just that box that you're selected on. Okay. Now, if I want to get rid of all of them, just underneath is the part section. Now, hit the X, everything's gone. If I want to make a whole song, bang. Done. There's a whole song just by one button press. Hey, Seven Dust. Thanks for hanging out with us, folks. This isn't my usual day I do a show, but we're normally doing Walk With Me right now. But here we are. How cool is this? Just 0, there's a song. All right, let's get down to how this thing works. So what's really cool about the randomization is you have these options underneath this randomization button. Now, when you see this button with all the colors on it, all this, and this one down here, this means it's going to randomize every fucking thing unless you choose not to. So these brightly colored buttons, both of these together, are standing out like dog's balls for a reason, because the tick takes you to the page where you can decide what is getting randomized. And let me tell you, look at this. It is bonkers. You can decide the synth, the sound, so the gate, the pitch, the BPM effects, swing, humanize, scale, root, chord progressions. You can even come in here to the chord progressions to decide these. The arrangements, you can click through these and change the arrangements. It's so crazy, the amount of customization. And if I want to come in here and turn all these off, I can do so. And what's really nice, really nice above everything else, I love this. It's really small, but I think it's smart design. If I come over here to my overhead cam, I don't have to do one at a time, right? So if you notice to the side, I can just drag my finger and do all of them at once. I can, very easy to draw in the ticks. Super easy to come in and do that. As you can see, I've got all the pitch turned off, got all that, and you can decide what gets randomized. The randomization is just fucking brilliant. It is really cool. To get out of this, I think we got to hit there. Yeah, there's a little X to get back over here. Also, so now when you hit this button, whatever you've set in these settings for the randomization will only be affected. Plus, underneath, we have all of these styles of music, right, to randomize from. So you got fusion, volt, mellow, tough, linear, hips, so which is hip hop, pop, nitro, floor. Let's just do them. Let's just hit volt and do a randomization and see what it does. All I did there was just hit randomize an entire song. Look at that. It's wild. And remember, this works inside Logic, AUM, Cubasis. You just load it as an instrument. Let's choose the next style, mellow. Now, the one thing that I can't do here is when you have this open in standalone and you're choosing these different styles, the BPMs will be different. But because we're in AUM and we're sunk to the door, it's up to me to change the BPM to try and make it work. So if I bring this down a little bit, let's bring it back up to say about 100. Let's try the next style, tough. And you can come over here and see these individual patterns in here. Remember, turn on the eye. I mentioned this at the start, and watch what happens. It follows each pattern. So you can keep up what's going on through the song. Make changes if you need to. The synth moves along with it as well too, or the synth engine. Next one, what do we got? Linear. Hip hop. This is steps. Then we've got pop. I mean, every time you hit randomize, super cool. Nitro. And floor. There's some pretty fucking wild sounds in this. All right, let's quickly talk about this stuff up here because this stuff's really important and I'm going to try and cover as quickly as possible so it's understandable. The range here, when we have all selected, pretty much you'll see all these lights down the side here. Now, these are representing your patterns, which make up your parts. So this one is the chord synth is now representative of pattern 1, pattern 2, so they're representative that way. If I go to selected, now, depending on which one I hit down here, those chords, you can see as I move down, see how this, there's a little line up here. I'll try and zoom in a little bit so you can see it. As I move through these, a little line is going through that pattern up there. This means I'm only selecting that section of here. So if we select the slice, only the slice is selected here. So now if I hit random, only that slice is being affected in there. So you can really get down and go on individual things. Now I might want to copy this now that I've messed around with the slice over to this track. I can pick it up and drag it over there and you can do that. So you can copy these things around. But that's only because I have copy selected. If I have swap selected, now when I drag this, it will swap between the two things that, so if I come over here, we should be able to swap these out. Swap, and you can do that. But we are on the so we're only swapping out at the moment the slice track. But if we go to all, now we've got swap selected. It will swap. You can see as I pick this up and drag it, you can see whatever I hover it over, it's being replaced over there. So you can swap things around. The other important thing is to remember are these two. Make sure there's quite a few things in this that you need to be aware of and make sure that it is always selected. Remember what we talked about before with gates and parameters. Gates are notes. Parameters are the settings of those notes. So if I come in here, let's just clear this whole project. We'll generate, whoops, we'll clear all this. We'll put our part, we'll generate a part and just say, I just want to move the parameters. Watch what happens. I'm going to copy, drag over. See how the box has got this little circle in it? And then when I drop it, nothing's there. Nothing's in there, no pattern. That's because all I've copied is the parameters. All of this stuff, all the parameters of this have been copied now into this blank space. So I can put whatever notes I want in there because it's just got the parameters. Now what happens when I just move the gates over, it brings the notes, it brings all those notes over. Now I didn't need to bring the parameters because I've already done that. If I've got both selected, it's going to bring both of them over in one go. So you might just want to copy and paste the parameters or just the notes. You can do that, or you can swap them. It's pretty intuitive. The last section of this wonderful area, let's just clear all this out again, is our effects. And so here's our patterns. 4 patterns make up a part, and on each track, each part, you get an effects rack, and that's over here. You have a randomization for the effects. I can just do this, and look, it's just populating the effects with stuff. We'll get to the effects. You can, and you'll notice, see how these are all stacked on top of each other? That's because we're doing it in parallel. If I hit serial now and run them, you're only going to get individual notes. Go back to parallel, and we're getting a whole lot more. We can clear those out. So there's your randomization for effects. Let's just do it. Let's come back up here and we'll hit Volt. We'll do a random, and then we'll do a random of the effects. And you can see as our transport goes through these effects, they're affecting the song. And I can prove this to you because here are all those effects. Let's clear all this out and move on to song. Of course, I have to say again, I haven't covered every single little bit, but hopefully you get the gist. Now, song mode is similar, but not the same as memory mode. Memory mode is really good for jamming and building a song. Song mode, once you've kind of got everything done, song mode's really cool because it takes everything from this, from your memory mode, and allows you to build a song by adding repeats down here, right? So here's where you get to build your song, your key, all that stuff. How long you want your song to be. 16's the max, but you can bring it all the way down to whatever you want. So we're just doing 2. So you've got that power. You can decide to loop from. So just say the first, our first part here is just an intro. So let me show you that. So just say it's an intro. So then what you would do is loop from number 2. So it would play the intro here and then get to number 2, play all the way through the song and come back to number 2. So you can actually avoid and set up things like that. So you could do like loop from number 2, stop, never, or you can decide how long you want the song to go to actually finish off the song. Now, this thing's hard to show, but I'll try my best. Let's do a thing. Come into our song. I've chosen loop from 2. I'm going to bring the length down of the song. Let's just bring this back to off. I'm going to change the length of the song to 2, and I'm going to make this stop after the length, which is the length 2. And what this does is you can choose where to play the last note. So if ever you've like done a song and the song ends and you're like, hang on a minute, there should be a last note there. You know, normally a song ends on a last note. That's the 1 of the next bar. You can do that with this. So if I choose part 1 here, look what happens. Hopefully this works. It's going to play 2 bars and then it's going to, or a 2-beat or whatever it is, and it's going to, 2 parts, sorry, and then it's going to come back and just play the first note. Let's see if it works. Watch down here. We're on our second one now. And see how it just ended on that note? So it went back to that first note. Very, very clever stuff. Very, very clever. I love it. So you can actually finish your song within this groovebox. Again, you can do your randomization from here, all that kind of jazz. But here, you can choose your tempo. We're sunk to a door at the moment, so the tap button really doesn't have any bearing. Standalone, that works. You've got an amount of swing. You can go crazy with your swing up here. Let's, where are we? Why are you not playing, bitch? There we go. So you've got whatever swing you want. You've got humanize. I wouldn't go to 100 with humanize. It'll really make things go stupid. A little bit of humanize in there just to give it that human feel. You can change the root key. You've got 3 scales. You can turn off song mode. But here's where it gets fun, because you're probably thinking 16 parts. Is that all I get? 16 parts? No, you get a lot more than that, because down here on each part, you can decide how many times they play. And you can go all the way up to 8 with each of these. So I could play this second one here twice. We could do the third one 3 times. So now when we go back and hit play, like so, this is going to play once. This will play twice. This will play 3 times. So essentially, you can make this long as really long. You can pin one of these if you just want it to loop. So now we've got a pin attached. That'll just continue looping. And this is really fun. Let's just put a pin on our first part here. And let's talk about mute per pattern. You can mute either of the patterns, either of the 4 patterns that make up the part. So I can come in here and go 1, 2. I can just randomly put mutes on all of this in this first pattern. And now each of these blocks are going to be muted. Let's play that. And you'll notice if I draw all these in, you can remove as much as you want. And each pattern has one of these mute blocks along here for you to play around with. Super interesting to create interesting sounds, yeah? Also, just want to quickly come back here and cover for a second, and then we'll cover the effects and mixer, and then we'll hoot scoot to boot for today. Just coming back here to the synth page. So I didn't really go through all of these, but we've got tuning, so we can change the tune. Let's just move to like a synth here. So you've got your tuning. Remember, this is important. You got your tuning, you got glide. So we'll use this for the bass. We'll solo this just so you can hear what's going on. Let's turn up some glide. We've got an LFO modulator here, which works with this. So here's our LFO. We can decide the shape. We can decide the rate and the attack and decay. We've got an amp envelope over here. as I covered, so your filter has resonator, your LFO modulation, you've got reverb, delay, drive. Plus, lastly, this is where your solo button is on here. You've got a step delay, so you can decide the step delay. You can turn on probability and even rolls, right? So I can show you rolls with the snare. Come over to the snare. If I turn on rolls for the whole pattern, remember, whole pattern. Now every snare hit will roll how many times I choose. Or I can do individual notes. So I can choose this one, put 3 rolls on that. So you can control your rolls. Plus, lastly, what's really cool, polyrhythms. I can decide to make this entire section only 10. And then I can go to the next section of say the bass and make the length of this, 7. So you can start to mess around with polyrhythms as well too. Take down the length of this, hit play, and we've got. You can see where this is stopping and restarting again, where the rest of it's going all the way through. Let me just unmute. And while we're in song mode, let's show you this, because you thought all the randomization was cool. Well, guess what? These are all your presets, and there's so many. It's just wicked. Look at all these presets. Let's just run through some. You can use the plus or the minus to go through. We'll go a little bit over today to try and get in at least maybe another 15 minutes to get as much in as I can. Thank you for being here on a Friday. We've got a whole bunch of really cool entertainment coming up for the rest of the day. Mr. Smith is coming up after me with Valerie Butt doing the song sessions. You've got after that Pole Vault and Sunshine Archer on the weekend warm-up. Then after that, you've got Laurie's Mishmosh, followed by Gary Hubs, and then followed by Leela, the Leela verse. Let's run through a few more of these presets. Look, without a doubt, this is very, very deep, but hopefully you're getting a bit of an understanding of this sucker. Heaps of presets. If you want to save on a preset, there's a save button here. You can come in, name it whatever you want, and that will appear in the user section. And what's something really cool is you can come into the settings here, iOS settings, and turn on iCloud Sync. So if you've got multiple iPads or the iPhone version, all your stuff will sync across and you got all your stuff like that. Or you can import, export as well. Let's look at the mixer. 8 tracks. You pretty much know how a mixer works. Yeah, volume. But wait, this gets cool. Because hidden away, let's go to an overhead shot. This is my Korg Nano Control 2 USB little controller. You can see it's got play heads and everything. You can MIDI map. All you got to do to MIDI map these sliders is hold down. A little pop-up comes up, says MIDI learn, and then move the knob that you like. Oh, I don't have it connected. Hang on. Hold down, MIDI learn, and then move the knob, and you can see we are done. It's this easy to go in and MIDI learn this whole desk. Let's just do 4 of them for now. Yes, exactly the same functionality for the iPad and iPhone version. Obviously just a smaller iPhone view. So if you can do it on an iPhone, you're a legend. You're amazing. I have it on iPhone. They gave me the code for it, but I can't see anything. So there we go. We got 4 sliders. Now I think you can do it for your. Yep. So if you hold down on your solo, then click the solo button. Now my solo button is working as well. Same for your mute. Hold down, MIDI learn, mute. And you can go and MIDI map the whole thing to your controller. So that's really sweet. Not going to complain about that. Let's move that shit out of the way. It's not shit, but you know what I mean. So I'm guessing you understand solo. You can solo all these tracks from here. Now, if you want to mass turn them off, you've got a group unsolo. So that's just for turning off. Same with the mutes. If you've got a bunch of things muted here and soloed, hit this. It's going to remove them all at once. Nice. Now, the delay that you saw in the synths over here, this is where the controls are. The delay is over here. So you can change your settings for your delay over here. Change your reverb, the tail, high pass, low pass. Let's bring this make sure we're pinned. So yeah, from the mixer page is where you can control. Plus, we've got a compressor here. Now this, I'm not going to dick around here. This compressor is really good. And when you turn it up, watch up the top here of our output level. When you turn it up, it's going to show you how much makeup gain is being added. Really fucking, I think that's a really tight compressor. We can control the time. So fast attack, slow, how much. Nice little compressor there. That's your mixer pretty much. Nothing too crazy. Let's talk about the effects. I'm going to come back to our memory and delete all the effects. You can draw in your effects, or you can actually play them in. You can draw in by dragging. And if you want to delete these, there's that little delete pen. But watch. When you're drawing in here, not only are you drawing left to right, but up and down. And watch what I mean by that. Oops. See how I'm drawing with my finger up and down? And this little delay thing is moving. We're getting notes drawn in. And this works for everything. The phaser. the stop button. If I hold stop, select stop from over here. The chorus down the bottom, draw it in. So you can actually draw what you want in. And when you click on the delay, you'll see the axes drawn in. Or you can delete all this and you can record your parts in. So there's a little big record button up the top here. And now you just select whatever you want and draw it in, and it's going to animate. We've got a low pass we can control, a stop, chorus, lo-fi, and a looper. So you can go to your heart's content. And as this is just an example, if we come back over here to our memory now, you'll see all that's been drawn in over here, yeah? Make sure once you finish recording, you turn this off, or you'll just keep recording shit. Let's clear all that. You can draw in 4 at a time. If you select this with the pencil, it'll draw in these parts in 4s, I think. Yeah, so if you just tap, you'll get 4, 4, 4, 4. Or you've got this random pencil that will just draw in random stuff. I'm just dragging left to right. Or you can even do this. Let's clear everything. Have the random pencil and the 4 together, and it just created 4 randoms. You can copy these, you can paste them. So I've copied that now. Now I can come over here and paste. Let's clear it. You can randomize the whole lot, all parts, or just this part. So a lot of stuff. Again, you can do this parallel or serial. So if you do serial, you're going to get stacked over individual stuff, yeah? Undo, redo. Okay, let's come over to our, we'll choose a different song quickly. Choose like a tough, there we go. We'll let this play in the background. Hello, Miss Stephanie. The last bit of this, then we're going to get out of here. I know it's been a long one, but I've tried to get as much as I can just to get you started. Settings. There's a lot of stuff in here. I'll get out the way. iOS settings can be found here with your cloud sync. So good thing to turn that on if you use iCloud. You've got a manual here if you want to go and read that. You can add swing to your arpeggiator. You can have run off the internal clock source or the internal clock source when you're running as a AUv3. Let me show you this, because this is where it gets really fun. We've already got a track in here. So we've just created this song. Actually, we'll choose something to try maybe a bit faster. This pop. Oh, we'll call Downer. That sounds exciting. Perfect. Multi-out. Let's talk about multi-out, because this is an AUv3. If we come over here to settings and turn multi-out on, you need to make sure it's on. And then we come over here and hit audio. And instead of choosing another plugin, we want to come to multi-bus audio unit instances. And this creates a part 2 of Dialekt. And now if I come down here and just do duplicates 8 times, we want 8 of these, right? This is now going to separate all these tracks into 8 separate tracks, and we can add our own effects in here. What have we got so far? We've got 7, so we need 1 more. And now when I hit play on this project, everything is now spread across all 8 of these. And we can come in and individually add effects as we wish. So let's just add a combustor here. That'll do. On our kick, let's add like some kind of reverb or a delay just for fun. Let's add like a cascade. So everything can have its own effect. But wait. Let's stop it. Now we've only done 8 here, so you can see 8 of these. If I add another 2, if I come in here and do duplicate 2 more times, it's going to give us 10. And you're probably saying, well, there's only 8 tracks. Well, track 9 and 10 are our reverb and delay. So now you're just hearing the reverb and delay that is in the original project over here. Pretty cool. So when we bring everything back in, so multi-out works also. I tried it in Logic, works here in AUM. Beautiful stuff. Come in here, add your effects to whatever you need for each individual track. And then if you come into the original track here and choose a new song, off we go. It's going to keep all these settings, all the effects that you've added to your multi-out. And why is this handy? Well, not only do you get control over individual tracks, you might only just want to record one part out of this song. You might just want the kicks or the snare or the bass. You really love that bass. You can do that. You can come down here, choose this bass over the first track here. This is the first track. This is our bass. And we can hit record. And now when I hit record over here, I'm now just recording this bass into an audio track. So when we stop, this bass is now in my files over here in recordings, and I can drag this bass kick drum into another project, yeah? So you can split these up and get a whole lot more value out of the wonderful presets and sounds that are in this cool app. I think we've covered most of this, yeah? Let's turn off that record. The last stuff that's in here is pretty much setting stuff. So humanize, pitch, master tuning, some advanced MIDI out features. But that's pretty much it. Yes, you can. Just look at that. I think you can, how far can you go? 415. So the lowest master tune you can go is 415 all the way up to 466. So yeah, 432's in there for those of you who believe the propaganda. All right, perfect. Super easy to set up. And look, of course, a learning curve. Here's the thing. Me personally, look, I'm grown up enough, adult enough to understand that Do I make music using grooveboxes? Very, very rarely. Do I think grooveboxes are fantastic? Of course I do, because there's a lot of people who prefer the groovebox environment. This groovebox has a lot of really quality sounds. Sugar Bytes are a very solid developer. It works as an AUv3, so it opens up the doors for so much more, and people are happy about that when it's an AUv3. But would I use this kind of thing? Not really, because I don't use grooveboxes, but there's a hell of a lot in here. And the finite customization coming down to individual steps to be able to come in, right? Seriously, this to me, to be able to come in and choose an individual step here and change that filter cutoff, and then the next step, change that filter cutoff, and even change the sound. I think, can you do that? Yeah. So we've got this ROM for this one, resonator. No, so you can't do it with that. So there you go. That's the one thing. But all the rest of these settings, to be able to just go in and do that is just wild. So I'm digging it. Let's cover one more time the price. It is free to download to try out. In-app purchase for the iPad version is $24.99. The iPhone version is $9.99. They are not universal, as you can see here on my phone. Let me just grab this. Dialekt. I'll give it a second. Okay, overhead cam. So there is the iPhone version. Look at that. I mean, it looks pretty sexy too. The thing is, it hasn't been shoehorned into the iPhone. It's definitely been made for the iPhone, the way all your little things are over to the side here. So they've definitely had a lot of care and consideration into it. And I know there's going to be a lot of people saying, but why isn't it a universal app? I don't know. I don't have the answers to this. Maybe it was just because there was so much going on with the differences that the layout needed to be in the iPhone that they decided to go this way. I don't know if it's going to at some stage come back together and be melded as one. I can't answer those questions. Only the dev can, but really fun app. I hope this has helped somewhat. I will put a link to in the description to the Sugar Bytes demo, which is done by Gavinski. It's almost 3 hours. You can do it. Just have snacks and reward yourself if you get through the whole thing. But there is that. I'll be back tomorrow, my friends. I'm enjoying the rest of my day off today, but I'll be back tomorrow because it's been a while. I've been doing this. I used to do the opening hour and do a live performance every Saturday and sing some songs, but we've been doing this creative hour for the last few weeks. And I thought this week, you know what, I'm going to have a sing. So tomorrow I'm going to be back singing some of my own songs. I haven't sung for a while, so I'm going to go off. I'm probably going to throw myself on the floor and jump around like an idiot. So if you want to come around and have a laugh and a bit of fun, this is happening tomorrow. The rant this week, we're going to be talking about Logic. And hopefully Walk With Me will be back next week. Boom. Thank you for hanging out in the live stream, my friends. And I haven't been very interactive today, but it is what it is. This is a really intense demo. I've been sitting on this for 3 weeks, just finding the right time to explain it and try not to put you all asleep with these long demos because it is what it is. Yeah. Do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better. We'll all rise together. Stay awake. We're going to Oj. Mr. Smith, Valerie coming up, Laurie's Mishmosh. There she is, Laurie's Mishmosh. We got Sunshine Archer, Pole Vault, Gary Hubs, Leela. Big day of entertainment here on the YouTube. And that's it. See you later.